Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of QG Diaries, a program on Quranology television, QGTV. In today's program, we will explore the idea of Quranic personalities, and the title is From Myth to Realization. Now, why did I use the word myth? And I feel that we need to clarify this before people go up in arms, saying, oh my God, he's saying that they are myths. By saying myth, I am not saying that they are fables, nor am I saying that they are lies or falsehood. That's not what I'm saying. The word myth implies that we can only know them secondhand. Therefore, we read about them, or people talk about them, or people even depict them in films, like the latest one, Moses of God and Men, not really worth the watch. And we only understand them as myths. But this is not what Quran tells us. Rather, if we read Quran hopes to realize them, to bring them into our lives as signs. And this is something wholly different from the traditional readings which we normally face with. In the traditional readings of Quran, I mean, if you look at books like Stories of the Prophets by Ibn Kathir, these are very lengthy stories detailing these personalities' lives and depicting them as religious leaders, prophets and messengers, but also leading religious movements. Essentially, they bring miracles to their followers, and their followers see the miracles and either accept them or don't accept them. And whatever happens to them after that, some of them reject the worship of one God, others accept it, and something happens and the society crumbles. This is the traditional reading, essentially. However, I do not see this as supported by Quran. Now, the first thing, the roles of these personalities as prophets and messengers. Now, while I acknowledge that they are Nabi, prophets, or messengers, Rasul, these are not their defining characteristics. And that's one thing we need to be very clear. Simply because Allah does not call them Nabi Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, or Nabi Musa, or Rasul Muhammad. It doesn't work like that. Allah calls them by their names. Even when He calls them, like, Ya Isa, O Isa. You see, He doesn't say, O Nabi Isa. You see? So, the name becomes our primary identifier in understanding these people. Why is that the case? Because they are meant to be our human examples. Now, if they were prophets and messengers, they would be perceived as being too high, and thus you cannot copy them. You see? So, next, they are seen as bringers of miracles. And ironically, Quran does not have the word usually used for miracles, which is mu'jiza. In Arabic, in Malay, you say mu'jizat. So, Quran does not have this word. Quran rather says they bring signs. And signs is something we all experience. In fact, chapter 41, verse 53, one of my favorite all-time verses, it says, soon we will show them signs in the horizon and in themselves. سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْأَفَاقِ وَفِي الْأَنفُسِهِمْ, until it is made clear to them that this is the truth. You see? So, the signs which we see are in fact to manifest in our daily lives and also in ourselves. So, these signs would obviously include the personalities. And that is how we can get to know these personalities. We can actually realize them in our lives. So, this is the first video in this series. I hope to produce 2 more videos, each of which will analyze the verses. There are 2 verses which I can see, which actually talk about Quranic personalities and how Allah views them. And these are very, very important verses. Once we understand these verses, we can come to understand the function of these personalities in our lives. And believe me, it is a very big function. These verses are chapter 11, verse 120, and chapter 12, verse 111. So stay tuned for those videos. And I hope to see you again in future installments of QG Diaries.